Welcome to a U-Swim instructional video, proudly brought to you by Aquatic Achievers Swim Schools. You've chosen the Safety Fundamentals level. The focus for this skill will be your child's breath control. The goal for your swimmer is to be able to take a breath and hold it while placing their face in the water for roughly 10 seconds. Your child's breath control is important to ensure that they do not accidentally ingest water. The 4 steps to breath control are taking a breath, holding the breath, placing the face in the water, and extending the time. Step 1 is taking the breath. It's good to practice this skill out of the water. Here we have Jack and Mum practicing at home. You then take the exact same skill and practice it in the pool. Step 2 is holding the breath. We start by taking the breath, then showing the child how to close their mouth and hold the breath inside them. Start with a small count of 2 and work your way up. It's a good idea to watch the rise and fall of the chest to make sure that a breath is being taken each time. Step 3 is placing the face in the water. Don't introduce this step until your child is taking and holding a breath. Start with short ones where the face goes in and comes straight back out. You can try different variations of placing the face in the water. Here the swimmer has no goggles on. Make sure you watch the mouth as it comes out and be sure that the child is not ingesting water. It's also a good idea to practice with the kids so they feel a bit more confident. Now we're going to start extending the time. This is where each time the face goes in, you should count. Set a goal for the child each time. Let's say 4 seconds, and then next time they do it, if they are comfortable, try 5 seconds. Children respond best when the games are kept light and fun. So be creative with your ways to keep breath control interesting. When swimmers can hold their breath and place their face in the water for roughly 10 seconds, they are ready to move on to the next skill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Brought to you by Aquatic Achievers Swim Schools. Make sure you print your lesson plan. Welcome to a U-Swim instructional video, proudly brought to you by Aquatic Achievers Swim Schools. Skill 2, Level 2 is a streamlined float. Your goal is to be able to float in the streamlined or torpedo position comfortably every time. There are 4 steps to achieve the front float: the supported shoulder float, the independent shoulder float, the supported board float, and then the independent board float. Step 1 is the supported shoulder float. Here, the swimmer's hands go on the teacher's shoulders, and the teacher supports the hips with their hands, remembering to take a breath and place the eyes in the water while we're holding the breath. Step 2 is letting go of that support and having the child independently float on your shoulders. So watch as the hands come away. Practice until the swimmer feels comfortable without you holding them. Step 3 is a supported board float. It's important that the kickboard is held properly. This means with the fingers on top and thumbs underneath. Once again, you are supporting the child. Only this time it's not around the hips, it's around the elbows. See how the instructor has a loose grip on the elbows, and when he feels the child is comfortable, he lets the hands go. Notice how the arms and legs are straight. Skill 4 is the independent board float. Pushing off in the streamlined float position, it's really important that the head stays down looking at the bottom of the pool and the arms and legs are straight. Remember, our goal for this skill was a streamlined float. If your swimmer can do this, it means they're ready for the next skill. Don't forget to print that lesson plan. Brought to you by Aquatic Achievers Swim Schools.
New swim instructional videos, proudly brought to you by Aquatic Achievers Swim Schools. Check it out, you're halfway through level 2. Skill 3, free floating. Your goal for this skill is to achieve a free float on the back. Here we see Audrey performing such a skill, floating independently and freely on her back. Again, to achieve this skill, we're going to take 4 steps. The first is on your shoulder, then a 2-handed supported, a 1-hand supported, and finally the free float you've just seen. So let's get on with it. Step 1, the shoulder float. To start this, support your child on your shoulder. Gradually lower them on your shoulder, cheek to cheek contact, or nice and close, supporting them in the small of the back, and relax. Step 2 will be moving from the shoulder into a 2-hand supported float. Here we see the clip from before, gradually moving from that shoulder into a 2-hand supported float. Hand under the head and neck, supporting the small of the child's back. And again, from another angle. It's a nice idea to have a look down at your child so they can see you, feel comfortable, talk to them, make them laugh.
Don't poke your tongue at me, miss.
Because free floating can be daunting, aids can come in handy, just don't overuse them. Instead, remember they're there to build the child's confidence and then take them away so they know what it's like without the float. Here we have a trial with the aids. If this child's comfortable, you take them away and try it out. So step 3, a 1-hand supported float. As your child's comfortable with 2 hands, gradually move the bottom hand and encourage them to feel the buoyancy of their own body. Again, use those aids if needed, allow the child to feel their own buoyancy and gain confidence before removing the aid.
Step 4, independent back float. So we've seen how we go from the shoulder to 2 hands, then to the 1 hand, and now we're gradually going to reduce buoyant so the child can float by themselves.
Again, moving from shoulder, 2 hands, 1 hand, free float. If at any stage a child is not comfortable with one of these steps, don't go any further. You can see there, just adjusting the head position, making sure the child's in the best position possible for a free float. When starting these skills, you must always stay close in case your child does have a moment, loses confidence and reacts. If in that case, you're nice and close, you can catch them, relax them, and make them feel comfortable again. Just like that. Remember, backfloating, free float, is a confidence skill. Never force a child into performing this skill. Instead, provide plenty of support. Allow the child to feel comfortable and then gradually move forward. The keys to success are confidence and relaxation. The goal for this skill was a free float. If your child can perform it like in the next clip, they're ready for the next skill, propulsion. Independent free float for a good 5 to 10 seconds, and you're ready for the next skill. This video proudly brought to you by Aquatic Achievers Swim Schools.
Youth Swim instructional video proudly brought to you by Aquatic Achievers Swim Schools. Skill 4 is propulsion. Getting your child independently propelling himself through the water using paddling and kicking. Your goal for this skill should look something like this, with your child independently paddling and kicking to get themselves through the water. Like before, we'll take 4 steps to work on this: kicking, paddling and kicking, and then independent extending the distance. So let's take a look at some kicking drills. This is a great one. Sitting down on the side of the pool so the child can see. Nice long legs, floppy ankle. Kicking your child on your shoulder, you can give them the same feel by helping them actually kick their legs for them. Nice long legs, floppy ankles. Look for a relaxed kick, not stiff, relaxed. If you have a mat or somewhere else they can lie, this is a great fun activity for them to practice kicking. Just look for the kicks to be in the water. Step 2, we're going to look at paddling. The key to a good paddle is catching the water in their hands. So help the paddling over their shoulder, like you're catching that water in your hands as well. Good paddles are long paddles, so work in front to help extend the child's arms out while still catching the water as they pull it back. You can work through this a few times. If your child favours one hand, you can work with just one hand as well. 3 is putting it together, paddling and kicking. Start out, you may help your child with one of the parts, but encourage them to have a go independently, paddling and kicking. When they've got that down, it's time to extend the distance now. Start close, step back as they begin, making a wake that will draw them towards you. Use your paddling arms to let them see what it should be like. Again, start close, step back, create that wake, paddle, paddle, paddle. Once your child starts to become comfortable with this process, you can start to begin a little bit further away, making sure you praise them every time for the distance they've swum. Now we know they can swim a set distance, we want to give them a target, let them swim to that target. Then move that target a little further away, get them to swim to it again. Each time, praising their efforts as they reach their target. Remember, achieving independent propulsion is a major step for a child. You should see their confidence and enjoyment start to grow considerably. The biggest key to success in achieving independent propulsion is gradually increasing the distance over time. Goal success should look something like this: independent propulsion, paddling and kicking, over a distance of approximately 5 meters. Look at him go. This video proudly brought to you by Aquatic Achievers Swim Schools.
Welcome to a Youth Swim instructional video, brought to you by Aquatic Achievers Swim Schools. We're now on to skill 5, which is back kicking. Your goal for this skill is for your swimmer to be able to kick on their back while holding a kickboard for support. Therefore, it's important, if you don't have a kickboard, to go out and get one. The 4 steps we're going to take are floating with the board, kicking drills, supported board kick, and then finally back kicking with the kickboard. So step 1 is just floating with the board. Floating on the kickboard is merely an extension of the free float. However, some kids find floating with the kickboard quite difficult, while others take to it easily. The hands should be resting on top gently, with the head looking back, encouraging the swimmer to be as relaxed and comfortable as possible. Step 2 is kicking drills. When kicking on the back, you're using different muscles than when you're kicking on the front. However, the idea is the same: to keep the legs fairly straight but not stiff, and the feet floppy, acting as paddles. Step 3 is the supported board kick. First of all, make sure they're confident holding onto the kickboard, and then add the kicking. It usually doesn't look very good in the beginning, like this. Correct body position is when the entire body is fairly flat on the water. This will improve over time. Remember, if they're struggling, offer support by placing your hand in the small of the back or even the middle of the back. can also support the head. Step 4 is moving into that independent back kick. The teacher supports the child to start with, but then the swimmer is able to hold onto the kickboard and do fairly nice back kicking with the kickboard. Keys to success. A great back kick is all about combining good body position with small, relaxed kicks. Your goal should look something like this. Notice how the head is back, looking up to the sky. Brought to you by Aquatic Achievers Swim Schools. And remember, you've only got one skill to go in this level. Welcome to a USwim instructional video. These videos are brought to you by Aquatic Achievers Swim Schools. Our last skill in this level is safety awareness. Safety awareness is not a specific skill. Rather, it's the idea that you will make your children safer in and around water by exposing them to different situations. Children will always be safer when they know how to deal with the unexpected. So the following are some ideas to increase your child's safety awareness. 1. Entering and exiting the water. Children need to know how to climb out of the pool. It's amazing how many good swimmers we see who are unable to get out of a basic backyard pool. The idea is to use the elbows first, get up onto the tummy, and then pull the leg up onto the side. Entering the water should be done the same way every time by young children. This means rolling onto their tummy and slowly lowering themselves in the water while holding onto the side. Finding safety. Here we want to encourage kids to be able to look for and identify the safest place to paddle to. Often this means being able to turn around and change directions. Here you'll see this young boy turning around and swimming back to the wall. Another great drill is getting children to perform a back float and then asking them to roll over and paddle to the nearest wall. This encourages swimmers to think for themselves while in the water, rather than just carrying out straight directions. We also encourage kids to dive down to the bottom of the pool. This gives them the sensation of recovering to the surface. Here's another example of a girl lying on her back and being able to roll over and paddle towards the teacher. This time she's able to fall deep into the water, recover to the surface, and then paddle back to safety. Finally, helping others. It's very important that you teach children from a young age to never jump into the pool if they're trying to help someone. Skill 4 is changing the conditions. Swimming with clothes on is a great way to change the conditions a child is swimming in. Here we have a child in pyjamas, making him feel much heavier and making swimming generally more difficult. Here we have a young girl going swimming in the outdoors rather than the indoors. And once again, another back float where we roll over and paddle to safety, but this time in the pyjamas. A major factor in your child's future safety in and around water is what they learn about safe practices. It's important that we talk to and expose our children to different situations and how best to deal with them in a safe way. This will help develop your child's feel for situational safety awareness. You should never stop practicing safety skills. As swimmers get older, the skills get harder and more challenging. Eventually, kids can begin learning skills such as treading water and rescue procedures. This video was brought to you by Aquatic Achievers. If you feel your swimmer has a good idea of safety awareness, congratulations. It's time to begin their practice of the formal swimming strokes, freestyle and backstroke.